Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Here's some fairy dust for you and for me and for Amelie, and she's still out there with other dogs helping on the mission to defeat Cruella. I wanted to read a quote from this book, of course, Codependent No More by Melody Beatty. And it's just a quote at the very beginning of chapter 1, and it just is a quote from somebody who is a codependent, and she says, her name is Georgianne, and she's married to an alcoholic, and it says, "The sun was shining, and it was a beautiful day when I met him. Then everything went crazy. Georgianne, married to an alcoholic." Bless. And I haven't read her story yet. I mean, I have in the past. I don't remember it right now. But the comment that I wanted to make is, she's not correct. I mean, she's entitled to her own story. She gets to tell the story that she wants. It's her experience. You know what? Erase. What I just said is not true. That's her experience. That's her story. Let me say that differently. And how dare I? How fucking dare I? Let me say it a different way. Excuse. In my experience as a therapist and as a friend and as a codependent myself, it's really easy for me to tell the story of my life was fine and then I met the addict. My life was fine and then I met the fucked up person. My life was fine and then I met the borderline. My life was fine and then I met the narcissist. My life was fine and then I met the crazy person. My life was fine and then I met the sociopath. My life was fine and then I met the embezzler. My life was fine and then I met the fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank. But that's not possible because we attract each other at our level of mental health. And I will say, I'm sure that there are people who are very good at their disguises. I'm not saying that's not true, and I'm not saying there's no such thing as a true victim. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that there aren't people who have done everything right and did absolutely nothing wrong and are not victimized. I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form. And I'm also not saying that somebody who hasn't been screwed royally, who hasn't been, what is this? Do I have a widow's pig? Am I just discovering this at age 54? I'm not minimizing any struggle you've been through. I promise. And if this doesn't relate to you, it's not for you. I promise. If this isn't resonating for you at all, if you're feeling angry at me, if you're feeling like, how dare she, this is not for you. I don't mean you. I'm talking about the people that are saying, yeah, this relates to me. If it's not relating to you, then I'm actually not even talking about you. I'm talking about other people. So if you're feeling like, I didn't deserve what I got, you're totally right. I'm actually not even talking about you. I'm talking about the people that are saying, yeah, this is me. So does that make sense? If you're saying I was totally fine and then the narcissist came and ruined my life. I had a happy childhood. I was perfectly fine. That was totally the most healthy person in the world. You're totally right. This has nothing to do with you. So this is for only the people that this resonates with. You got me? So I'm not talking shit about you. I'm not talking trash about you. You are right. This is for only the people that this resonates with. Okay, we're good? Okay. Okay, so we attract each other at our level of mental health. And so the thing about red flags, which you've seen in my stuff, I don't know why I've never taken a drink before. This is water, FYI. Um, but now that it's sitting here, like I have to have it. Excuse me. Okay, I won't do it anymore. I promise. Okay, we attract each other at a level of mental health, and so, you know, and we're wired for each other. You know, like an alcoholic will attract an enabler. A person who grew up, you know, being the recipient of verbal abuse will attract somebody who verbally abuses them because they're wired for it. Does that make sense? And so, and we're wired to ignore the red flags of that. And so this person is saying, you know, it was a perfect, wonderful day, and that's indicating that, you know, my life was perfect. You know, it was a shining, beautiful day. I was skipping along. Everything was perfect. And then, you know, I just fell into an alcoholic by accident. And in my experience, that's not the case. That I would, you know, if I was a betting person, you know, if I was laying odds, I would bet a lot of money that this person has, one of her parents is an alcoholic, or one of her grandparents is, like a lot of money. And it's just very, very common. It's just very, 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 very common and kind of textbook. Again, if this doesn't resonate, unfollow me, like go, like you don't need this. This is not for you. Like if your life was shiny and new and then you fell into an alcoholic and he really, really tricked you, or she really, really tricked you, this is not for you. Okay. So red flags, you know, they show them pretty early. If you look a few posts back, I gave an example of how Tati, is that her name? The very popular YouTube makeup artist, was a mentor to Charles James. I'm so sorry. I'm an old lady. I'm sorry. And one of the, you know, and then he betrayed her in the end. And then, but she said, like, when I first met him, she saw red flags. And then she attributed to them that it was his youth. And then she, in the course of her story, she said that there were red flags all along. And then one of the things that people do with people that have red flags is they make excuses for the red flags. So they're like, oh, that's a red flag, let me give this excuse. So her first excuse was, he is young. And that was her first excuse for the red flag. And so that's what people do. And so instead of saying, oh, that's a red flag, I need to bow out. Yeah, so like for her, it was a bright and beautiful day, and when I met him, and then, you know, then it all went to shit. Clearly I'm paraphrasing. It can't go just from beautiful day to shit. It doesn't do that. There's a red flag. And then when she saw that red flag, she chose to stay, you know. And so, you know, maybe there was an excuse that she made for that red flag. So we have to take our responsibility for our choices, for the excuses that we make. And that's what it means to be an adult and be responsible. So we're responsible for our choices, and you know, our wiring is not our fault. Our DNA is not our fault. Our parenting, the way we were parented, is not our fault. You know, our family system is not our fault, but it does become our responsibility. All right, and so it seems like it's a harsh thing to be saying these things and to be learning these things, but it is actually the key to your freedom. And so I say it very lovingly, and it was the key to my freedom. And so it's like, there's something I can do, and there's something I can learn, and I am so excited. It's like, thank God, because that means the power is within me to change. Love you. See you soon. Link in bio if you want to have more information and training on codependency. Bye, sweetheart.